Welcome everybody to today's webinar from Top Rated Seller Webinars. Many of you have been with us on this journey for a long time. Thank you for staying with us. I think you're going to find your time well spent today. Today's webinar is 7 tips for profitable last-minute holiday sales by Robin Johnson. A little housekeeping. The number one question we always have, is this being recorded? Yes, all top-rated seller webinars are recorded, and we'll get that recording up to you as soon as possible on ecommerceweekly.com. Those who signed up for the webinar will get a link to the recording. You will also get a copy of the slides. If you're having trouble with the audio and you're on your computer, try using the phone call-in number. The other option is to log out and log back in. Please remember to support our sponsors. They make these webinars available for you. Stamps.com is the one thing you need to know if you're doing merchant fulfill orders. Easily import your orders from all different data sources. Spend less time shipping and more time selling with Stamps.com. Our next sponsor is Campaign Go. Campaign Go helps you boost your eBay store sales. They have a tool called a Markdown Sales Guide and a 2016 Retail Selling Calendar. Free downloads for you. Go to campaigngo.com to download your marketing materials and to sign up for your free 30-day trial for Markdown Guru and Best Offer Advisor. New arrival from Campaign Go is their repeat buyer tool. If you use Campaign Go, you will immediately be notified if you have a repeat buyer. You will receive their name, username, country, email, all of their purchase history, and the ability to make a personal note about these buyers. Just connect your eBay store to Campaign Go. If you're interested in testing this new beta tool, just email beta@campaigngo.com. Our connector, that's me. Find Kat Simpson at That Cat Group. I'm on Facebook. My website is thatcat.com. I am thrilled to introduce you guys to a very good friend of mine today who's doing our presentation, Robin Johnson, also known as the Unlikely Entrepreneur and the Unstoppable Entrepreneur. Welcome to Top Rated Seller Webinars, Robin.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I know that I see a lot of people in here that I've seen on a lot of my webinars. They know my story, but really briefly, just give you an idea. I wrote the book, The Unlikely Entrepreneur, because I very much was not somebody that you would expect to work at become an entrepreneur. I loved my job. I was a youth minister, and I programmed the elementary and the sacrament programs at my church. I loved what I did. I loved being able to watch these young people turn into these extraordinary adults. So, I loved watching them. And that my operations manager actually was one of my teens that sulked in the corner when she was drugged to youth group as a kid. And so there was nothing that you would expect for me to do this, but I was, money was really tight. And, sometimes working at a church isn't all it's cracked up to be. And, my son has some health issues. And so I took $100 and from, garage sales, Craigslist, eBay, Amazon, I worked my way up and, continued to grow in each one of those marketplaces. And in less than 5 years, I turned that $100 into a 7-figure business. And, so now I have in The Unlikely Entrepreneur the steps of how to kind of start doing that. Some of the 100-mile view kind of looking down on the steps that you need to do. I also have a podcast that I just found out yesterday, it was new and noteworthy on iTunes. It's the Unstoppable Entrepreneur Show, where we give you actionable advice for your e-commerce business. And I have the Unstoppable Amazon Academy, which we'll be launching here, and we'll talk about that later. But I know you guys are here for the meat. You really don't care about me. So, well, to a degree. 7 tips for profitable last-minute holiday sales. The holidays only come one time a year. And for us, we can see just as much sales from, late October to December as we do from January to October. So these couple of days is an amazing time to start really capitalizing on that holiday rush and start making some really good buys and good sales that will help carry you into Q1. We want to maximize. I figured we have about 15 days left, not, a little bit less than that, but, we want to be able to capitalize off the time that we have left. So the first tip that we're going to talk about is shipping settings that maximize conversion. So if you have an e-commerce website, this is something that you should have on your website. This image right here that says you want to assure people how often do you ship, and it makes sure that they know it's going to be coming fast. If you're going to by 3 o'clock, everything will be set. Even if you only have this on your eBay listings, just for a couple weeks before Q4 ends, then that's fine. But it really helps to make sure that when people come to your site or they come to your listing, that they know that they're going to be able to get fast and free shipping. I actually stole this little chart from Kissometrics. It's actually a really great blog article. You can see the link to the blog underneath that chart. And 28% of cart abandonment comes from unexpected shipping costs. So we want to make sure that we're setting really clear expectations, because one thing you always want to keep thinking about is a confused customer does not buy. If they're doubtful, if you haven't answered all of their questions, that's going to keep them from clicking that final confirm button. So is it clear how much shipping is going to cost? Is it clear when the item is going to arrive? And can they tell that before they go all the way through the checkout process? People like fast and free shipping. As much as we love Amazon, they have created a huge problem for us, because now it is expected that people get their items in 1 to 2 days. People just assume that that's what's going to happen. In fact, my sister ordered some things for webbing. I was like, they totally stole money from us on the shipping because they charged us $40 for shipping. But it was a big box, and it probably did cost them $40 to ship it. But the average customer now, because of Amazon, because of a lot of these other big e-commerce and pure play big box stores, they think that shipping is a lot less expensive than it really is. So you want to have free shipping whenever possible. Now, free shipping doesn't actually mean the customer isn't paying for shipping. They just want it rolled into the cost. So it's kind of like when you go someplace and you forget that there's sales tax. It's annoying. Even though you have to pay sales tax, when it's all rolled into there and it ends up being that $5 flat, it feels more convenient. So when you look at shipping, you want to set the shipping so, if you're in Maine, you want to see how much does it cost to send it to California. If you're in California, how much does it cost to ship it to Maine? And put that high-end price into the cost of your product, and it will convert better, and you actually might get more profit on some of the items that end up shipping closer to you. Number 2 is you want to have photos that make your product a premium product. Now, these are all 3 images are from eBay listings, and I picked the three same products because I want you to think about how much you would pay for each one of these items. And which one of these sellers do you trust to actually get your item on time? Which one feels more like they're a professional seller, and which one feels like, well, they got this for Christmas last year, and so they threw it on eBay, and it may or may not be broken. I'm a little concerned. Quality images give you credibility as a pro seller. It's like wearing a suit to an interview. Having good pictures make your products seem more expensive. And it also clear images give buyers the information that they need in order to convert. So if your images aren't clear, they might not be able to see the image like they could physically in a store. And so they're not going to be able to those questions answered. So when in doubt, always have the maximum amount of pictures that you can on a platform. We try to always use pictures, of the item specifically, of the item in use on Amazon, not on the front picture. The front picture, the main picture, has to be just the image of the item being sold. Nothing else, nothing for scale, no lifestyle pictures. But on the second, third, and fourth pages, we might show the item in the box, the item out of the box, the item expanded, the item closed up, the item being used by a child, the picture of the tree topper on the tree lit up. Because we want to give the customer the experience of actually seeing and touching it in person. Because remember, we want to eliminate any confusion, any doubts that customer has. And a really quality picture will help. Now, you might say, well, all my stuff's at FBA, so I can't fix that. Now, there are some other things that we're going to talk about that. But, when we're thinking about pictures, it's not just about the front picture. We have to think about, is that picture zoomable? And on Amazon, if your picture is not at least 1,001 pixels on the shortest side, then it's not going to be zoomable. You want it to be mobile friendly. So if that picture the resolution isn't good, when it comes to mobile sizing, it's going to be way too small and people aren't going to be able to figure out what's going on. And on that, customers who viewed this also viewed that. If you've looked at that on Amazon, because that's a thumbnail picture. If your picture isn't high quality from the get-go, especially on mobile, it's almost impossible to get a good idea of what the product is. So if you're saying, well, it's kind of too late to do pictures, there's a couple ways you can do that. If you're really deep on an item at Amazon, it might be worth going to the store and buying one more and taking some good quality pictures of it. If you have a picture, but maybe it's just not as good as you would like, I use pixels to remove the background. It used to be called remove the background. There are other things like Clipping Magic that you can use for free, but personally, it takes me at least 20 minutes to kind of get all of the things that Pixels does to my picture right away. So I know how much I get paid per hour, how much I'm worth per hour, and for me, it ends up being a better deal to have a service like Pixels.com do it for me. And then the other thing is, even if your picture isn't perfect, resizing it to 1,001 pixels, even if that means that when it's zoomed it's a little pixely, that's still better than it not being zoomable at all. So you can, even if you can just resize the image that you have, then that will help. So remember, the idea behind the pictures is Operation Almost Retail. Your mission is to give the illusion of actually holding the object. So they should be able to tell, what it looks like in the front, what it looks like in the back, and what it looks like from scale from the pictures that you provide. All right, so how to come in first. Keywords are something that's really underutilized and can really help you get the sale even in areas where you might have a lot of other competition. Because what you want to know is, how are people actually searching for these items? Now, these search results are estimated search results from a service that I like. It's called Merchant Words. If you go to my website, Best from the Nest, there's a coupon code for that you can get in the tools section. But what it does, it gives you an estimated search value for Amazon. Now, there's somebody in the audience that's going, well, I only sell on eBay, so that doesn't matter to me. Well, you still might want to care what some of these Amazon-focused companies like Merchant Words are doing, even if you're in eBay. And let me tell you why. So when people go to purchase, now way over a third of people start their search on Amazon. So when people are in a buying mind frame, excuse me, when people are in a buying mind frame, they go to Amazon, and that's where they start to go. When people go to Google, they're looking for information a lot of times. So words that might look like they're getting good traction on Google might be getting good traction for information, but not for buyers. Amazon's keyed in on conversion. So if somebody's using words on Amazon, those same words will still apply for your eBay listings, for your Etsy listings, and if you have a straight e-commerce site, I highly recommend you list some things on Amazon, use Amazon sponsored ads to find out which words are really converting, and from there insert that into your content so that you actually get buying keywords, focused in really, really targeted keywords, pulling traffic that's actually going to buy into your site. So when we're looking for keywords, we want to know how else could people be searching, because some people spell Tinkerbell altogether. Some people spell Tinkerbell as two words, kind of like a baking dish. Some people call it a casserole dish, like a shopping cart. In some areas it's called a buggy, soda, or pop. So you want to look for regional things. We also do something that takes about 20 seconds, and we go into Google and I type in synonyms for whatever it is. So I might look in for synonyms for a keyboard or synonyms for a blood pressure monitor. And Google will tell me what the other words are. Also look for other spellings, because misspellings usually are fixed by the marketplace. If somebody spells tree wrong, Amazon and eBay will fix that. But if they're looking for a word that might have an alternate spelling, that may or may not be fixed depending on if the algorithm recognizes it as an alternate spelling. So we want to make sure that our keywords are always in our title, but the most important thing in your title is that it be searchable for a human. You want to optimize your title so that when you read it, it makes sense. After the title, we want to make sure it's in the featured bullets, especially on Amazon, and your description on eBay. And then on the back side of Amazon, you can insert some more keywords in there. And then we also use keywords on Amazon so there's the back end, and then there's sponsored ads. You could also use Google AdWords, and then don't forget Facebook as well. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So if you want to look at other keyword planners besides Merchant Words, Fresh Keys is also one, ASIN Inspector, and then Google Keyword Planner is also one of the standard ones out there. Finding a keyword gap can help you reduce competition, especially on eBay. So if you find that everybody else is listing theirs as a baking dish, but you list yours as a casserole dish or a salad, my mother-in-law is from North Dakota, and my idea of a salad and her idea of a salad is very different. So, if you can think of a way that people are referring to this in a different way, then you might be able to capture certain sales that everybody else is missing because they haven't taken advantage of those alternate keywords. So, and that feeds right into making sure your descriptions and your feature bullets are completely optimized. So I took this same Tinkerbell thing, and if you look, this is what I would consider a good feature description. It says, Festival of Fantasy, Tinkerbell brings a pinch of pixie dust to the family tree with this retro-style topper. Felt comb crowned by a fully sculpted figure frosted in glittering fantasy and flocking. I'm not going to read the rest of it, but it gives you an idea of exactly what it is. And it lets you know that there's Mickey ornaments in there. And so we also see that it requires batteries, the height, the diameter, all the things that I might need to know if I'm going to order this. Is this plastic or is this glass? Now, these are three other descriptions that I found from a very similar listing on Amazon and 2 eBay listings. So this first one, it doesn't even tell you, how wide it is. It just tells you how high. That's the only information that I get. I don't know if it's made out of felt or if it's all made out of plastic. It could be made out of saran wrap. I don't know. And this is the entire description of that Tinkerbell item on one of the listings in eBay. It just says Disney Parks Christmas Tree Topper. It doesn't tell me how big it is. It doesn't tell me what it's made out of. And here's another one that I just copied and pasted the entire eBay description, and it was brand new in box, Tinkerbell tree topper, battery operated, nice retro looking style. Doesn't tell me how big it is. So if I'm focusing on eliminating customer confusion, as a customer, I still might not be able to have all the information to make a purchase. So go back into your descriptions, especially on eBay. On Amazon, make sure you focus on those bullets and not the description. The bullets are really what the customer is going to see. Because the customers just scroll down for the description, but those bullets are really important. So make sure you're focusing on, if I was the customer, why should I buy this particular one? What information do I need in order to make the purchase now? So when you look at your feature descriptions, and your feature bullet points, sometimes we think our listings are kind of like this guy right here. It's like the guy at the Ritz-Carlton opening the door, showing them. But your descriptions and your feature bullets are really your sales rep. This would be like if you sent somebody out to go present your item. And I want you to start thinking about your description, not as just as a way to get found, but this is your salesperson. You're hiring a person to deliver this content because you need to make the sales, right? Why should the customer buy this particular item? Your sales rep should be able to answer all of the customer questions. And remember, confusion or vagueness is going to help you lose that sale. So you want to make sure it's really clear. You want to put your best foot forward, because in reality, a lot of our listings are really more like this guy, not the Ritz-Carlton guy, but the pizza guy. We don't want that. We want when people come to our listings to feel like they're getting a premium service, and that they're going to be able to have all the information they need. Now remember, when I'm talking about bullets versus descriptions, I'm talking about the featured bullets on Amazon, and descriptions would be the description in eBay. I'm not talking about specifically about using bullets within eBay listings. So now we've looked at, really some of the really basic things that we need to really be looking at. Are the photos there? Are we offering free shipping? Do we have the right title, keywords, description? So why is it not selling? Because maybe you've already done all that and you're like, look, I already did that like 3 weeks ago. I was hoping that there would be some good information here. I'm not seeing what I really came on to see. So now we want to identify, is your item actually getting traffic? Now on Amazon, if you don't know, if you go to reports, business reports, and then on the left-hand column, there'll be one that says sales and traffic by ASIN. You can actually see how many page views and how many sessions your item is getting. A session is, so let's say they come to your page, and then they go look at another tree topper, and then they come back to your Tinkerbell tree topper. That's one session, but 2 page views. So if you have the exact same number of page views as you have sessions, that means when people leave your page, they're not coming back. So whatever they're leaving to is giving them a better option. It's answering more questions. It's a more compelling sale than what's over here. The other thing you can say is, well, is the problem that I'm not getting any traffic to this page, that maybe I need to have some ads, maybe I need to, post this on social media? Is it the problem, the traffic, or is it the conversion? Because if you look and you say, hey, it's actually getting a ton of traffic, driving ads isn't going to help you. In fact, it's just going to end up costing you more money. So if you see that you're getting a lot of traffic, then the question is, why is it not converting? What's stopping that sale? Is it your price is way above what everybody else is? Is your product being displayed in a way where it looks like a lower quality than it is? Is it unclear whether or not they'll get it in time for Christmas, which is a huge deciding factor this time of year? Or maybe it's that they're not sure how much the shipping is going to cost, or they feel like the shipping is too much. And that could be, if you put $15.99 shipping for an item, that could very well be how much that item costs you to ship. But in the customer's mind, they are going to feel like you're overcharging them because of all these websites that free shipping over $75 or $3 for shipping and handling on pretty much everything. We have to adjust for our customers' expectations. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm just saying we have to adjust for it. Maybe there's so much competition that even though the page is getting traffic, there's so much competition that you're not getting any sales even when you have the buy box or when people do come to your page. Maybe it's your return policy. On some eBay listings, you might want to look at, you might have rewritten your return policy right after somebody really did you wrong. And I have been there. I completely hear that. But we want, especially, as the online marketplace becomes more competitive, we have to look for what's our point of difference. Why do people come to us? Is it because we have the best price? We have the best customer service? We have the best products, a unique product they can't get anywhere else. So if you're selling a commodity item and you're selling it at about the same price as everybody else, you really have to be like Amazon, like Zappos in your customer service to be able to win that customer. So I'm not saying that you have to change your return policy wording, but if you say things like, if you're going to do this, then I don't want you to buy, that turns off even really good buyers sometimes. So, make sure that when you have that return policy, it's set up to instill trust in the customer. Now, there will be people who are not nice people. and people who will take advantage of that. And that's part of owning a business, is having some returns, having some people use your store as a rental. Now, you want to eliminate that becoming a commonplace item, but it is going to happen on the rare occasion. Maybe there's something else on the page that is causing people to not want to buy that item. So we say, okay, maybe the item, the product is that it's not getting enough traffic. So there's a couple options to bringing new traffic in. Advertising isn't just for the big guys anymore. Even if you are just a couple $100 seller on eBay, there's a lot of opportunities for you to actually buy ads. The ads that I use the most are Amazon sponsored ads. It used to be that you could use refer these to external sites, but they've recently phased that out, at least to my knowledge. But the Amazon sponsored ads, the reason that I like it is it's a lot like Google AdWords, where it's really keyed into giving you a lot of really powerful information. It's really keyed into the right demographic. Everybody who's on Amazon is there to buy. But because a lot of people don't know about Amazon sponsored ads yet, the ads are very cheap compared to Google AdWords. A Google AdWord that might be $4 or $5 on AdWords, on Amazon it still might only be 30 cents. Just because it's all about supply and demand, and there's just not as many people who have taken the time to learn Amazon sponsored ads. Now, at the end of my presentation, I will have a link to my site, and I'm giving you one page of my Amazon Academy for free, and that's specifically the Amazon sponsored products page. And in that page, I have some things from us and some videos that we did. And also, don't forget that Amazon itself has a YouTube channel that has a lot of really great information. If you haven't gone on, if you're an Amazon seller and you haven't gone on Amazon's YouTube channel, there's a lot of great information on product feeds, on sponsored ads, a lot of the things that really confuse people the most. Facebook ads are also really good, especially if you have, through your eBay store, you started to curate a list of people. You have an email list of people that you know are your customers. What you can do with Facebook ads is you can say, let's say you have one particular eBay store that's all really focused on cow-related items. So you know that the people who subscribe to that email letter all really like these cow items, or all really crazy Disney fanatics. So what you can do is you can create a lookalike campaign in Facebook where you upload that email list to Facebook and say, these people find more people who are like these people. So what it'll do is it'll say, oh, well, I see a 30-year-old woman who likes this, because they're going to use that email just to look up their Facebook demographics. And they're going to say, oh, well, I see Susie's on your email list, and she's 33, and she likes to sew, and she has 4 grandkids, and it's kind of scary how much they know. But they'll find other people who match that same demographic, and you can run ads specifically to them. Facebook ads can be a really great way to find some really targeted traffic. Google AdWords can also be really great, except it is very expensive. If I was directing traffic, on Amazon, I always use sponsor ads. If I'm referring people to a website to start to do brand awareness, or if I want to grab attention to a specific piece of content because I want them to buy a product later from that website, and I use that on I have multiple independent websites, that's when I use Facebook ads. It's kind of more for brand awareness. When people are on social media, they're usually not ready to buy today, so it's more of a long-term game. But I probably would do a Facebook ad, really targeted Facebook ad for an eBay versus Google AdWords, just because we've been kind of trained as society to kind of ignore those Google ad space, and so the success rate isn't that great. If you have an email list, that's always going to be my number one option. So if you're not cultivating an email list for your, for customers that are buyers, you have to follow. Every marketplace has their own rule. With Amazon, that's not an option at all, so don't even try. Unless you're your own brand. But with some of these other areas, you can have a newsletter, or you can, find a way to have people opt in within the terms of service, always within the terms of service of whatever marketplace you're on. And I don't care if Jesus comes down and he's on a webinar. Doesn't matter who comes down. Always look it up for yourself, because I am wrong a lot. My husband will tell you that with much glee. So always check to make sure that when it comes down to things that are touchy subjects for marketplaces, always look at the terms of service. So when I use ads, especially sponsored ads, is when I have a lot of competition on a product. So if you're not familiar with Amazon sponsored ads, they only run when you have the buy box. So you don't have to worry about advertising for other people's items. So if you have the buy box, so let's say that pie face game that we've been seeing all over Amazon. Let's say you have some units on that particular listing on Amazon, and there's like 700 people on that listing. And so at this point, you're like, ugh, when I do get the buy box, I get sales, but I'm not getting it enough to get rid of all my inventory because I bought 6,000 of them. So how do you get more sales when you have the buy box? You use Amazon sponsored ads. And what that will do is when somebody pulls that up, if you have the buy box, that's when it will run, and that's when you'll make sure that you get the sale. So if you're trying to get more traffic when you already have the buy box, that's when I run sponsored ads. Also, if maybe you're in an area where in eBay or Amazon where there's a lot of different listings, so maybe you're trying to sell generic K-cup refill things, then you might need to do some sponsored ads to have yours come to the top, because that's a very competitive area. And remember, the more competitive or commodity of an item, the more expensive it is going to be for you to run ads. So I don't care if it's eBay or Amazon, Etsy, whatever. I really believe riches are in the niches. Embrace your inner weird, especially as you're buying for Q1. Most of the time we're trying to pretend to be normal. Don't be normal. Embrace that weird. Find the weirdest people in your life. If you are not weird enough, borrow their weird. Find out what interests they have that have maybe a little outside of the norm, and start looking at sourcing those products. So the other times when I look at advertising is when you need to generate traffic to a page. Maybe you're just trying to get, you launched a new bundle on Amazon and you're trying to get people to that page, or your new private label just hit and you're not getting any traction. The reason for that is that Amazon looks at conversions as part of their search algorithm. So you need to have some sales in order for it to start biting on Amazon. So that's when we use a combination of sponsored ads, and we lower the price as low as we can and still break even for 1 or 2 sales, and then we slowly start to raise our price until we get to the break-even point. Now that's assuming that we're the only ones on the listing, because you can only run the ads when you have the buy box. So being price competitive is important if you're on something with a lot of other people all on the same listing. And then the other time that we use ads is to generate traction within Amazon's search algorithm. So another idea, if you are using an email list to send people to your new private label, or maybe you're a brand owner, then send the offer. Like if you have a coupon code, send the offer via email and then refer them with the coupon code to the Amazon page. The reason for that is every time somebody goes to a page, so let's say I look up Tinkerbell tree topper, and I look at it and I walk away, and maybe I buy something else even. Amazon says, we thought that when people put in Tinkerbell tree topper, this is the item they want, but people aren't buying it when they go here, so we're not going to put that one first anymore. That one's going to go further down. You get a vote of no confidence. So making sure that you're able to generate, if you need to generate traffic, generate those first couple sales so that you can start to get in Amazon's algorithm. Then you can slowly taper off your ads until you don't need them anymore. Again, you have to have the buy box. Amazon sponsored ads are very inexpensive and great data that you can use across every marketplace. We will specifically run sponsored ads. We'll buy products that we might not make money on Amazon, and you can run ads just to get the data on which keywords convert. And in that training page, we talk about the different kinds of matches and how to use them, so you can have that information. We just don't have time to go over all of that today. With Facebook, do retargeting. So if somebody has already come to your independent website, we want to put a pixel on them. So if they've been there, then Facebook goes back and says, you still want this. That's how come when you go look at something, one of your products that you're selling, Facebook ads will start magically appearing, is because Amazon, who's very smart, does these retargeting ads. Use those lookalike audiences and make sure that you know the demographics of your ideal customer and the people who are, who's going to be buying your items, and that's going to help you on Facebook. AdWords is the most expensive. We have been trained to kind of ignore those banner ads. So make sure you use negative keywords. So negative keyword is, so when I go to Google and I search how to knit, I'm not looking for knitting needles, or I'm not looking for yarn. But if I put the ocean blue color wave organic wool, then I'm looking for that particular item. So I don't want how to as anything that, no matter what people search for, even if they looked for how to use a Tinkerbell tree topper, I don't want anybody who uses how to is not a buyer for me, so I want to add that to my negative keywords. All right, so tip 7 is go Guerilla. These are a couple of last minute Hail Marys. So try another marketplace. So if you're only on eBay, try to list a couple merchant fulfill. If you're only on Amazon, try to list a couple of multi-channel fulfillment. So if you are on Amazon, your items are at the warehouse, you can, with MCF, multi-channel fulfill, meaning you have Amazon and you can have it in a non-branded non-branded box, send it to that customer for you. I would recommend that if you're going to do that, you do next day air as the way that you ship it from Amazon, and then offer 1 to 2 day shipping from eBay, so you have plenty of time to get your tracking information in. Be very, very careful, especially if you're a top-rated seller, because that tracking number can be a huge deal. And then, post it in Pinterest, post it in Facebook groups. Now, don't spammy post it in Facebook groups, because then you're just going to get kicked out of Facebook groups. I'm going to show you an example of how to post things in Facebook groups. And then there are some deal sites, especially if you're a large seller. So if you have over 1,000 feedbacks, then you can, if you are slashing your prices especially, you can have somebody post it on Slick Deals. There's certain, you want to look at each terms of service. We don't want to be like that guy that everybody hates, but how else can we, let people know that maybe you're having a sale on this item? And maybe even asking people that that have communities that are in the areas that you sell. So, I'm like a total Disney freak, so I'm in a bunch of Disney freak Facebook groups. So here, this was actually in one of the Disney Freak Facebook groups. It's actually called Disney Dorks. And so they were talking about, has anybody seen this? And on this particular Facebook group, there's a lot of these where they say, have you seen this item? And you can see somebody down here said, oh, look, I found it down here. It's not the least expensive. So if you know that it's something that, if somebody posts something like this, it's a great opportunity for you to post. If you've been in that group already for a while, or at least if you're coming in today, start posting there a couple times a day with real posts, so you're not a spammer. And then you might be able to get away with a couple, and you're going to have to figure out, okay, I have a couple of things. I know that a lot of you guys really love Nightmare Before Christmas. I found this really cool thing on Amazon. It's not something we want to do every day because we don't want to be a spammer. But, if it's, something you got to get rid of, this is, kind of a way to kind of sneak in there a little bit. Make sure you come from a place of service, not from spam. So if you just say, buy this, I have somebody I can't remember his name, he's on Facebook, but I actually unfollowed him because every post he has is just random ASINs on Amazon. And there's no rhyme or reason to them, it's just random ASINs. So that doesn't help people. But if you say, hey, there's a deal right now going on for this, diaper changing mat, and you are already in a Facebook group of new moms, you could post it there saying, hey, there's a really great deal right now on this, come from a place of service, not from a place of spam. Pinterest and Instagram are also really great for if you have a very niche item. It will help you kind of get the word out there. If you have a Shopify store, make sure you're using that option to have the buy box there on that Pinterest. The other thing about other marketplaces besides the multi-channel fulfillment is you're going to have velocity limits, so you're not going to be able to, if you've never sold on eBay before, you're not going to be able to sell a lot because they're going to restrict your ability to sell. Same on Amazon, and your money is going to be tied up because Amazon holds your first paycheck for a certain amount of time first. So, don't expect to get that money right away. Also, especially if you have the item with you, and even if you don't, there have been times where we sold things on Craigslist, on SwipSwap, OfferUp, some of those online garage sales. You can say, like, if you say, you can have, if you know that you're going to have lots of extra of these, pull back 3 of them now and try to sell them on Craigslist because there's no fees, so you can sell them for a lot less. So those are my 7 tips for last minute holiday sales. Now you can't do all of those in the last 15 days because you still have other things you need to do. You still need to ship. So you're going to have to triage. So the items that you're going to go, that you're deep, that you have a lot of, those are things that we obviously want to take these and apply them to first. Second thing is items that are seasonal. So if you have a Tinkerbell tree topper, you want to get that sold now because there's not going to be a lot of people buying Tinkerbell tree toppers on December 26th. So those should take a priority. And then items, maybe if you have a very wide girth of products because you do a lot of thrifting, a lot of one-of-a-kind, then we want to focus on the high profit items first because the idea in getting a lot of sales is we want to increase the liquidity in your business. So making sure that you have those consistent sales, making sure that you don't go deep, it's going to help your cash flow in your business because it's going to make sure that not all of your money is tied up in inventory. So after Q4, you want to take some time to evaluate in your business. Really take a moment to look at your numbers. And of the items that you sell, when you take the cost of your time, the cost of the bubble wrap, the cost of the poly bag, the inbound shipping, when all of that is said and done, what products are you really making a profit on? The Pareto principle is the 80-20 rule, that you're probably making 80% of your profits on 20% of your items. One of the things that we did this year, which made our gross sales look atrocious compared to last year, but our profits are way up, is we have focused exclusively on the cream of the crop as far as our profit. The items that sell consistently and that we can make consistently at least 70% or way more, those are the items that we focus on. We have an intentionality in the way that we source, so we create a list of things that we want to buy before that money comes into our pocket. And what that does is, since we have a list and we're only taking the cream of the crop and we know what we're going to buy ahead of time, we take Lady Luck out of the equation. It's not about getting lucky anymore. Now, if you're a thrifter, there's always going to be some element of luck, and that's part of what you love about your business and one of the most exciting parts out of it. But if you know that you, in general, make more off of your Disneyana collectibles than you do your Merino glass, that means that we're going to focus more on the Merino glass. So look at where you're really making your profit. Eliminate SKUs that are eating up your resources with low margins. What we found is when we took those low margin items out, those things, and some of them were high margin items but had a lot of prep and they had a lot of returns. And so by the time we took the prep and the returns out, we were only getting 30-40%, but they were sucking a lot of time out of our ability to process other items and to find new items and pursue new interests in our business. So when we took those out, we had a whole new level of freedom and scalability in our business. Look at what really worked this year. Double down on those strategies. And from there, you're going to be able to be more profitable and more scalable. I was listening to Philip Lecter. His mom wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he's a friend of mine. And he says always, routines need systems, exceptions need people. So even if you are a solopreneur and you have every intention of staying a solopreneur for the rest of your life, the more efficient you are, the more you get paid per hour. So even if it's just you, create systems in that slow buildup of Q1 that will help you scale so that next Q4 you can either have higher margins and higher sales, depending on what your goals are for you. You want to be clear on that long-term goal, because I don't care if it's Amazon, eBay, Etsy, it's very easy to start with the intention of creating freedom for ourselves in our life and to end up building ourselves a prison cell. So know where you want to go and make sure the actions are ultimately taking you in that direction. So, if you want to know, this is my new thing. All right, so if you want to know, are you making money? Are you really bringing home the bacon? The first thing you need to have if you want to make bacon, if you want to have bacon, you need a pig. So when you're looking at that time to take a moment and reevaluate your business, I want you to be thinking about pigs. Profits are the items that you're focusing your time and money on, whether or not they're the things that you love the most. Are they profitable after your time? And if you could get a job getting paid $20 an hour, then I would say that you need to value your time at least $20 per hour. So at the absolute minimum, you should be valuing your time at $10 an hour. I see some of the names on this call. Some of you guys are in the $50 to $200 an hour range. So just remember, you would never pay somebody $200 an hour to pack a box, but some of you guys are really brilliant at sourcing, and you could really increase the amount of take home if you allowed some other people to kind of take some of that over. So make sure you include the value of your time. So profits, inventory turn, because inventory turn tells you, are you buying items that are not moving, that makes your business loses liquidity, meaning you don't have the cash that you need in order to survive. That also could be meaning you're making bad buying decisions and you're not realizing it because the cash keeps coming into the business from the payouts that you have now, but you're not realizing that you're losing money. You want to have very clear goals. You want the goals to be clear and actionable. So it's not like, one day I'm going to live in the Bahamas and it's going to be beautiful. That's not a goal, that's a dream. A goal is by 2016, I will have a down payment for my house in Bahamas. I will have outsourced X, Y, and Z, and I will still be doing this, this, and this. So if I want that by this time, then by 1 year from now, I need to be doing this. By 6 months from now, I need to be doing this. 1 month from now, I need to be doing this, which means this week, in order to hit my goal 2 years from now, I need to do action items 1, 2, and 3. Set yourself up with some accountability and structure. Most of us need that in order to really grow. So don't be afraid to set up those clear, that action, accountability calls. Find somebody you're a little scared of and have them check in on your actions that you're taking. I know that that's a little like more than the last holiday things, but I think it's really important that we start thinking as an e-commerce community about how much we're actually taking home. And are we really creating the lives that we want for ourselves? Because that's why we started. The holiday sales are just the cream, is like the frosting on the cake. But we want to make sure that the cake has substance too. So I think that pretty much eats up all my time. So I'll give Kat a second to kind of unmute herself and see if we have any particular questions on things.
I'm still scrolling notes. I love this bacon and pig thing.
Yeah. I was like, how can they? Because if you know that your items are profitable, even after, my dad calls them hidden. He's like, well, there's hidden costs, like, the box and the tape. And I was like, that's not so hidden. You went to the store and you bought boxes and you bought tape. He's like, well, if you put it that way. Yeah. If you're profitable after all that.
Your dad. Yeah. Okay. Well, we do have a couple of comments and questions, and then I know you have an offer. I'm excited to see the free page you're going to let them have access to. We have a lot of eBay and Amazon sellers in this group. So one of the questions was, you kind of addressed it, but they'd like to hear again your comments about bullet points. And I know you were specifically talking about on Amazon, the bullet points are a lot of times only what people can see, because they don't scroll down. What about using bullet-pointed text in your eBay listings?
There's a lot of different schools of thought on this. And, to a degree, it depends on the niche that you're in. Now, I do think, personally, and I'm sure that there are people who are way more successful on eBay that might disagree, and so I, of course, will yield to their expertise. But as a buyer, for me and my experience selling on eBay, we want to make sure that our listings are really looking the best for mobile buyers.
Yes.
So I would say stick to the facts, nothing but the facts. You don't need to have it be beautiful. In fact, but we want it to look professional. So clean, sleek. Amazon doesn't have, there's a reason why Amazon says you cannot use HTML and colors. There's a reason for that. And so when I am trying to make a decision, should I hire an employee or should I not? What I'll look at, what are other successful companies that are doing? What's their decision, and why do you think that is? And because they've determined that doesn't convert well.
Yes, and I really like the way you brought it out several times. Even if you are only selling on one channel, there are a lot of things you can learn from the other channel. Like the way, the Amazon sponsored ads, beautiful idea to use Amazon as a testing ground, even for your own website. I know many successful people with their websites that are using Amazon in that way. So look at what's out there. I love that. Leanne wonders. I'm sorry, go ahead.
With the, going back and forth, so just a reminder that eBay customers and Amazon customers are very different.
Yes.
So the same items that are struggling on Amazon might do really well on eBay and vice versa. What doesn't work is for you to be a successful Amazon customer and try to vomit all of your Amazon onto eBay. It doesn't work the opposite way either. So you want to consider different customers, different motivations, different concern points.
Absolutely. Okay, Colleen wonders, you mentioned the various websites and marketplaces that folks sell on. What are your feelings about the Rakuten website? Do you recommend selling on there? Have you heard of successes there?
Oh, well, okay, so I tried selling on Rakuten, and I will say I did not try that hard. I tried for a couple months, and I got really frustrated, and I got no sales, and they wanted me to buy sponsored ads, and I was like, why would I buy sponsored ads when I can't get a sale? And we were the only people with those particular items on Rakuten. If you're in the electronic industry, maybe. But so I guess when I look at expanding to other marketplaces, first I would say always master your marketplace that you're in first.
Yes.
Automate it to the maximum amount as possible. So you want to make it so you don't want to be starting an Amazon business and starting on Rakuten and eBay and Etsy all at the same time. You're going to work really, really hard, and at the end of the day, you're not going to get a lot of results. Master one thing, get it as close to mastering it as you can, right? There's always going to be more to learn.
Absolutely.
And then you slowly start to pick up new things. So we're adding new streams. So people always talk about multiple streams. So it's kind of like you have one flow, and then you're going to have another stream start to feed into it. It's not like 5 giant rivers all converging at the same point.
Good visual. Good visual. Okay, Mo says, when you talked about doing the post-mortem, do you recommend using spreadsheets? Is there a software you use to help you do the post-mortem analysis?
So it's going to, of course, depend, like everything, it depends. It depends on where you sell and what tools you use. So if you're primarily an Amazon seller, then I love Inventory Lab for being able to look at the profitability by SKU. Otherwise, I would be looking at spreadsheets. If you have not invested in a good accountant, this is the year. Seriously, this is the year. I don't care if you just started 10 minutes ago, this is the year. The reason for that is a good accountant is going to save you way more than they cost you. And what your bookkeeper or accountant, or if you're, we use Xero for our bookkeeping, and then we use Inventory Lab as kind of a way to manage our cost of goods on Amazon. But you should be at the end of the year especially, you should be able to look at your profit and loss and say, am I making money or not? Now remember, you can't, if I have the end of the year, I have a big bucket of all my inventory that's left, and my cost in that inventory is $40,000, on my profit and loss, I don't get to write that off. So as far as the IRS is concerned, that $40,000 of inventory is profit, because that's not an expense until it sells. Before it sells, it's an asset. So, and I know people will say, well, if you do a cash or accrual, and I honestly used to think that the first couple of years too, because an accountant told me that. I've talked to several accountants, and they've all assured me unless you're talking like $100, $200 worth of inventory, in general, that's not true. If you have unsold inventory, it's an asset. So, you want to be looking at, you can kind of look at the amount of inventory that you have left. The other thing that you can do is take a list of the highest volume SKUs, and if you're like a thrifter, then I would take and split your sales out by category and look at how much you spent and how much you profited and what your expenses were, and kind of identify which of those SKUs are the most profitable. There are some tools that you can use, but I would say a good bookkeeper is going to be your best tool. Excellent. I don't know if that doesn't answer it, but
I think they got more information. And Jean says, thank you, the comment about the bullet points. Jean, I just want to throw something else out there for eBay. Griff, as we all eBay folks know, has suggested that there is a medium ground. You can write your description on eBay with short, left justified bullet points, but not use the bullet point. So it's a short comment, a space, a short comment. So he suggested that at one point as a middle ground, I guess, if you're worried about the bullet points.
Yeah, and you want to think about how is it going to be optimized for the customer. So on eBay, on Amazon, the customer expects the bullet points. It's part of the structured data set. On eBay, people are used to kind of seeing things in a more organic fashion. We want them to be able to pick out those key details, the height, the length, the width. But you have a little bit more play there, and you want to remember that customer is looking for something different than the Amazon customer.
Or they'd be on Amazon, exactly. And many of them are both, but they are different customers. Okay, Charlene had a question about Amazon coupons, and she may have to clarify because she says, can you ask Robin to comment about the checkbooks of death when you're creating an Amazon coupon?
So if you're creating an Amazon coupon, the first thing I would do is, this is an advanced move. This is not something to do for the first 1,000 units in stock. What I would recommend doing is practicing on an item that maybe you only have 3 of in the warehouse. Because if you miss this one checkbox, there's one little tiny checkbox, and if you miss it, instead of them being able to just buy one with a discount, they can buy 500. And so there are actually programs out there that people will use to buy, people find the people that miss that checkbox, and you'll go to bed thinking, wow, it's so great, I made my first coupon. Oh, you're so proud. And then you wake up and all your inventory is gone, and all of it used that coupon, or abused that coupon in a way that you didn't expect. So those coupons that is an advanced feature, and so make sure that you try it. Make sure that you really read. I think that I saw that there's a program now. Somebody was creating a program that will make it so you can like an add-on for your Firefox or something. But I don't remember what it was. I just saw it on my Facebook feed, and it might not even work. But so if you're going to be creating a coupon, Google, Amazon coupon checkbox of death, and things will come up.
Look at the things you learn. Checkbox of death. Okay.
So you need to be careful when creating promotions on Amazon.
Always. It's like the early days when folks created Google Ads and didn't do it correctly and woke up in the morning and had spent $10,000 on ads. Mm-hmm. So these are advanced strategies. Get educated. Mary has some questions about your special offer. She says the Unstoppable Amazon Academy starts on December 10th. Are these recorded classes? Can you tell me where to go to find more information? So do you want to tell them more about your offer and about the Unstoppable Amazon Academy?
Okay, so the Unstoppable Amazon Academy, we have things broken out in 3 different ways. We have a course list, and in the course list we have everything from basic retail arbitrage, scaling retail arbitrage, which is how we can spend $50,000 retail arbitrage in just a day. Easy. Wholesale, bundles, all of those things. We also have business basics. There's a lot of pre-recorded content on there, and we also have worksheets on there to help you find niches. There's going to be a list of 190, I believe, trade shows for you to start working on wholesale if that's something you wanted to start working towards. And so we have everything in there from how to hire an accountant, an entire course on hiring virtual assistants. So we have a lot of really broken out information, all of the information that you really, the main pieces that you need in order to really build and scale your business. Because we believe that that first $1,000 in sales is a huge milestone. And that's always free. So like if you want to learn how to get started on Amazon or to generate seed money on Craigslist, if you go to bestfromthenest.com, our getting started guides are always free. If you're looking for more beyond that, like how to really grow your retail arbitrage, how to identify those profitable numbers, we have things on inventory health reports, a checklist of reports that you should be running monthly, biweekly, daily. So all of the little pieces that a lot of the other courses might be missing, we have given you out step-by-step directions, and we'll be constantly adding to that. So the special offer is that I have it set up to give you 14 days free after it launches on December 15th. So it launches December 15th, and so you'll have 14 days for free. After that, it'll be $39.99 a month, and we will be having things like webinars to discuss issues that people are having. There will be a chance for you to kind of get all of your questions answered. So it's really providing you that step-by-step instruction with the idea. It's really designed for people who want to build a business on Amazon, not necessarily hobby sellers who are probably a little too structured for that. It's for people who want to know, are they really making money and how can they be more profitable?
Great. And Charlene says she does know there is a program that you mentioned about helping with the Amazon coupons. It is a Chrome add-on. And for those of you looking, she is going to post the link to that in the TRS, the Top Rated Seller Webinars Facebook group. So if you join us on that group, Charlene, thank you for bringing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
and Mary says
Charlene,
thank you
it
for
doesn't
the
surprise me
details.
Charlene knows that. Charlene's amazing. I'm hoping to meet her at the Craft and Hobby. I'm speaking of Craft and Hobby Make a Show, so is she. So
Oh,
hoping to
cool.
see her there.
Charlene's awesome, and I am in awe of her talent. It's just creativity with arts and crafts, not a gift I was given. So I'm admiring. Charlene says she's in your class, Robin.
Oh, yay! That's exciting.
Oh, she's blushing. She says, for those of you questioning, the Craft and Hobby Show is a trade show, and so that's very interesting. Okay, I think we got all the questions. Last chance, Robin. Thank you so much for your time. I have learned so much from you in the short time I've known you, and I'm so thrilled that you took time out of your Q4 to share with our TRS audience.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having. And we've got tons of free content on the podcast as well, the Unstoppable Entrepreneur Show. It's on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. But thank you, and thank you for Stamps.com and all of the amazing sponsors that brought this webinar.
Awesome, and they're all saying thank you. We will have the replay up hopefully within 24 to 36 hours. It will be at ecommerceweekly.com, an e-commerce education website sponsored by Stamps.com. And all of you who registered will receive a link to the recording and a copy of the slides. Thanks, guys. Have a great Q4.